Interesting stuff from Ernie Stewart regarding the future appointment of a coach. I want to make the right choice and not a choice that is hasty. I don't know what exactly I can say to fans more than the fact that I'm putting in a lot of thought together with some other people that we're making the right choice for the future. Brian, this has taken a very long time.
He wasn't kidding when he said he's no hasty.
Yeah. Listen, he just took over, too. I mean, you got to remember, he just took the job. I know you had plenty of time to think about it before, but I think this is the right decision. If you're looking at the options that are in front of you, and I imagine he's going to be looking more towards the American coach.
Yeah. Someone
who's played for the U.S. national team. And those players right now with the experience are all in MLS. In my opinion, you've got Peter Vermees, you've got Greg Berhalter, and I'd want to throw in Brad Friedel in there. I think you have those three guys. To me, they stand out. Of course, Greg Vanney's up in Toronto. You've got plenty of options to look through, but will you be able to get those players?
Who would you want?
I mean, those coaches?
Brian, if you were in charge, if you were Ernie Stewart, who would you go for?
You know, I'd be interested to talk through with them as far as their thought process. You look at what Peter Vermees has done at Kansas City for such a prolonged time, changing over the team quite a few different times at the same time. So he's had to adapt and change his philosophy, the way he wanted to play. Still gets everybody on that team playing with high intensity. And then you look at Greg Berhalter, and he's done an amazing job at Columbus with his philosophy being a certain way and making sure players understand their jobs in that type of philosophy. So whether that fits in with what Ernie and everybody at U.S. Soccer thinks, that matters. Having that chance to interview and talk with them. And then, you look down at Brad Friedel and his career with his knowledge, and then what he's done with New England on, let's quite honest, talk about not a lot of budget. It's pretty impressive. To me, those are the three that stand out. But again, give Ernie a chance to meet with people. I like the fact that you have David Moyes out there being involved. I think he's a great option for a non-American. But again, it's early days, in my opinion, since Ernie's taken the job.
Interesting stuff from Jaime Aurores, who is the CEO of MediaPro, a big company when it comes to football rights, saying we're in negotiations to host a Champions League final in New York. We know the next final will be in Madrid, after that Istanbul, so there's speculation it might be 2021. What do you think of this idea, Stevie?
Horrible. Hate it. Could you imagine if they had the Super Bowl in Glasgow? Can you imagine what America would be up in arms? So I think this is ridiculous. I've never heard anything so stupid in all your life. It's arguably the biggest final in world football, and they're going to take it out of Europe and put it in New York. It's just stupid.
Brian?
Selfishly, because it's easier to get to, I'd love to see it. I think I'm with Stevie in the fact that imagine the two teams that make it, and their fans now realize that they have to fly quite a far distance and find the right hotel and deal with things that you wouldn't necessarily have to deal with. And I think it'd be much more difficult to get the support that you get.
Is there not an argument to say it's just as difficult to get to Moscow, to St. Petersburg, to Kiev?
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
It's the same flight length, isn't it?
Well, same flight length, but when you talk about preparations and what they're used to doing to follow their team, they've probably been to Russia if they support that much. To me, this is more a fact about taking it out of a European competition, taking it out of Europe and not allowing the big cities in Europe who haven't necessarily had the game. That's not fair. Personally, I'd love it. I'd love to see it here. I think it'd be great for soccer in the United States. I think it would sell out immediately. There would be no issues on the U.S. side, but I could see how the Europeans would be very disappointed.
Gab Marcotti, what do you think?
So we asked Alexander Chefrin, the president of UEFA, we asked him, who will obviously have some say in this, we asked him this question in Monaco in August. And this all stems from something that he said when he was running for president, where he said, we're going to have proper tenders. It's not going to be a political decision. If people want to have it, in New York or China or whatever, we'll look at it. And then this kind of snowballed into this idea that it was likely to happen. And again, he distanced himself from this, and he said quite clearly, there's a million obstacles. There's no shortage of cities in Europe right now that want to host it. So he certainly doesn't see it as a priority or indeed anything he necessarily wants to do. He doesn't think that there's a lot of appetite for it apart from Jaume Ruris. So I don't think this is going to happen.
What's your view, Gab, away from what Jeffrey said and whether or not you think it will? Do you like this idea or not?
I don't like the idea of intruding in, if we're talking May in New York, you're talking MLS is up and running, and I don't like going and sort of big-footing other continents and other leagues. I have less of a problem with one league game away from the domestic season in whatever country you go play it with. That's something that you can look at. But this to me seems, frankly, entirely unnecessary, entirely pie in the sky, and I'm not, this is not the Super Bowl. It's not like the Super Bowl, much as maybe they'd like it to be. So no, I don't see this as something that the game needs.
It's very much a new look Spain side, isn't it, Stevie? No Piqué, no David Silva, no Iniesta. The future looks bright for Spain, to say the least.
Well, it is if they're going to play against sides like, certainly against sides who play the way Croatia did. You have to get the basics right at whatever level you play. And Croatia never got the basics right. Defensively, they never got close to anybody. They stood off. They started well. After 20 minutes, I thought, what, this could be a tricky evening for Spain. But then Croatia, for me, just completely dropped.
Was this like a World Cup final hangover then? Was it a case that they couldn't get themselves up for a game because...
It has to be. You can't go from getting to a World Cup final to losing 6-0 against a team who are in transition as well. Now, everybody will say you can only beat what's put in front of you. And what was put in front of Spain today, they completely, for the last hour of the game, tore them apart. I mean, you talk about nice passing, you talk about nice moving, they took the goals well. I mean, this could have been 10-0. So, listen, you have to give Spain great credit, but you have to also think, hold on a second, what was going on with Croatia?
So given all of that, and it's all hypothetical, obviously, but if Lopetegui had stayed, or if indeed Luis Enrique had taken charge, say, a month before, would Spain have been World Cup winners?
No, I don't think you can take it that far. Certainly, Croatia didn't play anywhere near its best. But I think what Luis Enrique has done with this team already in this short period of time has really made a difference. You could see the shape defensively. They clogged up the middle, didn't allow Croatia to play comfortably through. And certainly, there was no Luka Modric, would have helped that process. But it was a Spanish side that was always on the front foot. They weren't afraid to push higher up. They weren't afraid to change things up at the same time. The ability to look in behind and play in behind for Spain was much better. They switched the field of play quite a bit. And they also used the width. I mean, when they got down to the end line, they didn't decide to turn around and play it back and then back around and then back around and then back around and finally get to the other side and then do it again. They were more than willing to put balls into the penalty area. And on top of that, they had players in the penalty area to finish. And rightly said, this game could have ended way more than 6-0.
Not really much happened, to be honest. There was one goal. It was scored by Marcus Rashford. He took it very well from at close range. This is a Marcus Rashford, of course, Stevie, who hasn't seen a lot of playing time so far for Manchester United. When he did this season, he obviously got sent off. What advice would you give him if he called you up and went, Stevie?
I would have to tell him to bide his time right now. Mourinho doesn't stay anywhere too long.
But he's not going to start ahead of Lukaku, is he? And it's clear that his best position is through the middle. Is that fair?
He's not starting ahead of Lukaku. He's not starting ahead of Sanchez either. That means that if he plays at all, he plays wide.
Right.
And if there's one thing he's shown us, when he plays through the middle, he gives teams' defences a headache.
So why bide your time? Why stay?
Well, because I don't think Mourinho's going to last too much longer at
But
Manchester
Lukaku's still going to
United.
be there. Alexis Sanchez, as you say, is still going to be there. They're ahead of him in the pecking order.
A different manager, a different coach, a different way of looking at the game would maybe prefer Rashford through the middle to Lukaku. Who's to say that Rashford wouldn't score them out?
No one's going to pick
Hold on a sec. Hold on.
Rashford, are they, ahead of Lukaku?
Why not?
If a new manager comes in...
Hold on a second. You say that as if Rashford is is some bit part player. This guy's quality. This guy has a huge future if he steps on the field and plays. Lukaku is always going to get you goals against your Burnleys and all these sorts of teams. How many goals does Lukaku get you against the top teams? He doesn't. He doesn't do it, right? So are you going to persevere with him?
You can't
get
Marcus
Rashford through the
in there
middle.
like that, Stevie. Not at this point. Certainly, he makes great runs.
Oh, he's only scoring goals in the international stage, but not at this point.
Lukaku got 2 today, to be fair.
Let me,
Against who?
Well, against Iceland.
Against Iceland.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Excuse me. Are we going to go back to the last game where Marcus Rashford had 5 clear chances to score? And how much trouble do you give Lukaku for missing opportunities?
I'll pick you. Well, exactly.
So my point is,
if there's so much difference between the two of them, they're both doing the same thing.
This is what I would say, is certainly Marcus Rashford has a lot of quality. But there comes a time in a player that you have to learn to not only adapt, but improve in certain areas.
He's got to leave United, doesn't he, Brian?
I don't think he does either. I'm with this. But for him right now, for him to find the field consistently, both at Man United and with England, he's going to have to start taking his chances. At the same time, he needs to adapt and be able to play off of center forward, because you look at right now, you've got Harry Kane on the international side, and you've got Lukaku at Manchester United. You're not going to start in front of either of those two. To your point, if he leaves there, he's probably not going to move to a club that has as much quality. And when you have better quality, you're going to have better opportunities. It's just about growing as a player, adapting and trying to understand how I can play off of a player instead of being that one. And in the end, if he is able to do that, come 3 or 4 years from now, he's going to be able to play both positions, and he'll be a greater threat.
Gab, what do you make of this?
I think Rashford's a kid, and he's fine where he is. And, you know, he is basically Manchester United's reserve center forward right now. Alexis Sanchez is going to be pushing 30 or is right around that mark. So you bide your time, and as the guy said, you know, you wait. Lukaku's not going to play 60 games a year. United are involved in multiple competitions. See how he continues to develop. I personally think it's not a bad position to be in. As long as you get the minutes to continue to grow, bide your time. You're not carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. The way Harry Kane and Lukaku are right now, and his time will come.
But don't you want that responsibility?
Absolutely. There comes a time when you don't want to be sitting on your backside on the bench. And he's not getting enough minutes. Rashford's not getting enough minutes. And he's certainly not getting enough minutes where he should be, which is through the middle. And I'm not going to argue with Brian yet. If he can play off Lukaku, the problem is there's no way they don't play Sanchez. So forget that. That means he's coming off the bench and he's playing wide.
So that goes back to my initial question. Why don't you just leave? Why don't you force a move?
Well, because I believe things will change when Mourinho leaves. They'll change the way they play.
Go on, Gab.
Why should he leave? Look how young he is. He's Mancunian. He's a United fan. He came through the ranks. He actually values those things. Why should he leave? I mean,
because I'm 21 soon, and I want to be playing week in, week out. I don't want to be playing second fiddle. Surely I'd prefer to go to a lower club and play and start and really get into the game, as opposed to just fleeting 15, 20-minute appearances.
Yeah, then you get balls played up to your knees. You're battling two defenders.
The list of players
you don't have
who play for their country.
Sorry, Gab, go ahead.
List of players who play for their country that young and were so good that young and then left and came back is very, very short indeed.
Hello and welcome to Extra Time. Thank you very much, as always, for your tweets. The first one is for you, Stephen.
Ooh.
Did you ever play against Vinnie Jones? If so, was his reputation as a hard man well earned?
No.
You did play against him?
Yes.
But his reputation was not well earned?
No.
Who was the hardest man you played against? Or with?
That's a tough one. Because there's a lot of people.
Give me a top 3 then.
I'll tell you what, there's a guy called Tommy Smith, not the one that used to work here.
Right.
That anybody in football was scared of going near.
Former Liverpool, yeah?
Former Liverpool player. Another former Liverpool player, Jimmy Case.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Played at Southampton.
Yeah.
Everybody knew to stay away because he would do you. There used to be a way of doing somebody without getting caught.
Right.
You know, there's like professional tricks. You know, where you get there a little later than the other person. You know, you just lift your toe, your boots up so your studs are short. You know, certain little. You could call them sneaky, but at the end of the day, it was accepted then that if you got done, then you didn't complain
You
about
could
it.
always get away with one early too, couldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
But now you wouldn't be able to get away with it, no?
No.
Because all the older...
No, and Vinny used to kick people stupidly. I mean, how Vinny never got sent off more often than he did is beyond me. Because he would just kick people senselessly in front of everybody. It was.
What about you, Brian? The hardest person you came up against? Or played with?
One of the nicest guys off the field, but certainly hard on, Clay Koyman.
Right.
I'll never forget first time I went up against him. I heard stories about how crazy he was from national team guys, how hard he was. I won a few headers off him. We get a goal kick, and we both go up challenge for the ball, and all of a sudden I feel that in the middle of my back.
Oh.
And I land and I look around and he goes, didn't get a yellow card, nothing.
Sneaky, like Stevie's saying.
No, that was full on blatant, but nobody believed that you could possibly kick someone in the back when we're jumping up. But he certainly got me good.
Norman Whiteside was like that. Norman was the nicest man.
Manchester United.
Yes. Say what, as soon as you pulled a jersey over his head, he just became a Tasmanian.
Really?
Aye, incredible.
Next question. It's Gab's here, isn't he? Let's ask Gab this. Why the hell is Modric on the list of best players when it's very clear that he was in the World Cup final only because of Croatia being on the extremely weak side of the bracket, Gab?
I don't even know where to begin. But first I'm going to remind you, actually, and it's funny that Stevie studiously avoided this. Stevie played against Vinnie Jones in a very high-profile game at Wembley in 1988 when Vinnie Jones was playing for Wimbledon, which is a game that went down in history. But I won't belabor that point because obviously had Stevie wanted to talk about that, he would have talked about that. Or maybe he's just plain forgotten. But yeah, the Modric question. You know where I'm going, yeah?
No, I've no idea. I've got no idea where you're going, Gab.
1988 FA Cup final.
Yeah. Well,
Liverpool against Wimbledon.
Yeah.
The greatest upset in FA Cup final history.
Yeah. What's that got to do with Vinnie Jones being a hard man?
We played in that game, and so did you. I thought you.
Yeah, but what's that got to do
That
with
was
being
like
a
probably
hard
the
man?
biggest game Vinnie Jones ever played in, and you were right there with him.
Well, what's that got to do with him being a hard man?
Oh, let's get it awkward, Brian, isn't it? No?
Well, seriously, what's that got to do with it,
I don't know
Gab?
what's going on. I don't know, Stevie.
I'll answer the Modric question. No, that's silly. First of all, you can only beat what's put in front of you. Second of all, Modric, without Modric, I really don't think Croatia would have been anywhere near the World Cup final. And he also won that thing we call the Champions League, which is a pretty important competition, and he played a pretty big part in that too. So, I think, I'm not saying Modric should definitely win the Ballon d'Or, but he's certainly, I think, a very legit candidate.
Next question is for Brian. McBride.
Is there a different one on the panel?
Just making sure. Clear.
Got a couple of belters already, haven't we?
If Pulisic is the best USA player now, where does Weah rank?
I think we still need to figure more out about Timothy Weah. Certainly, his start with PSG is something to be watched.
What are you doing, Stephen?
I was told to move my chair.
He's
I don't think you're meant to be that close.
Oh, sorry.
You've got to be on your mark.
All right, sorry.
He's a player that has the possibilities of being up there and challenging to be the best U.S. player. Are you on the mark?
Aye. We're good, aye. Right, magic, aye. Sorry about that.
Dear.
Oh, right.
But I also think there's plenty of young players coming through that
You start again?
Yeah, you want to start again?
No, it's fine, good. Right, lots of young players coming through.
No, but yeah, listen.
Stevie's on holiday tomorrow. He's already got
I know, he's already gone. He's
I know,
looking for a
I'm
haircut.
not babysitting for a week.
You're not working, are you?
Well,
You're away
I
from...
will be working.
Anyways, Timothy Weah has a chance, but Christian Pulisic has shown it already in the big league.
You still going on about that question?
Yes. You were looking at my butt over here going around. I don't know what was going on.
Beg your pardon.
Gab, who is your Super Bowl winner and matchup?
Oh.
All right. It takes a lot of faith to believe that my Eagles can go back. There's a good reason why they were being booed at halftime on opening day. I believe in Wentz. I believe in Alshon Jeffrey. So yes, I think we can go back. So that's one. I'd love to wipe that to basically stomp all over Brady and Belichick again.
Oh,
But
you
then I
know
think I'd
what?
enjoy it
Isn't it
more if they
amazing?
didn't
Isn't
even
it
make the-
amazing, eh? You go and win the
What?
You go and win the Super Bowl, right? Your team wins the Super Bowl after 100,000 years, right? I'm on 1 year, yeah.
2 now.
And the only thing you, and the only thing you can do is complain about the way your team's playing in the first game of the season, and then all you're interested in is squashing Brady.
How could they be booed at
Yes.
half-time?
Aye, I mean, what kind of supporters are you lot?
Because they were bad. The offense was bad. Nick Foles was throwing it all over the place. And so what do? You
Well, you
react
stick-
based on the performance.
You stick with your team. You don't boo them halfway through the first game of the season. That's got
No,
to
that's something you
got
have
to
to
help, isn't it?
Respect is something you earn. We cheered them when
So
they won.
winning the- so winning
and
the
that was
Super
last
Bowl.
year. This year, when Foles is what?
Winning the Super Bowl doesn't give you any leeway.
They gave him the first quarter.
Honestly, goodness.
Yeah,
I tell you what.
we celebrated them all summer long, but they got to perform now.
I'll tell you what,
That's not the way it works.
Did you ever think it was because of you lot? That's why you never won any other Super Bowls. Too much pressure on the players.
I have.
You played your part.
We've discussed
You
this.
played your part over the years. Don't deny it.
By the
The
way, it
Philadelphia
looks like
Eagles
Spencer
have been champions of
Spencer
the NFL
really
on
wanted
4 separate
to
occasions.
have that name. 635436161.
Hey, actually, did the Eagles fans not boo Santa one year?
Oh, Gab, they didn't, did they?
I think they did.
Stop
I heard
it.
that.
No, they did not.
How could you boo Santa?
It wasn't Santa Claus. It was a guy dressed
did.
in
He
a Santa
absolutely did.
suit who
I
was
remember.
drunk. And every lazy sports writer across the country keeps repeating that stupid story over and over again. But it wasn't really Santa,
That's the
Stevie.
ultimate.
It was a guy dressed in a Santa suit who
Holy
was
crap.
drunk.
Wasn't the real Santa.
All these children
Wasn't the real
around the world.
No, it wasn't
waiting
the real
in presents from the great Santa himself.
It wasn't
and
the
you
real
lot
Santa.
boom. I mean, seriously.
Brian,
It's
you're
an imposter.
How low can you get?
This is great.
Who is your Super Bowl
Can
winner?
I get some popcorn?
Who's your Super Bowl winner and matchup, Brian?
Patriots.
Early.
Patriots.
Yeah, Bears, Jets. Producer. Listen, I'm excited about the Bears. Khalil Mack, but I don't think they'll get anywhere near it.
Right.
I had zero clue.
Okay, that's fair enough, Brian. That's good. I think it's going to be a Rams-Chiefs final. Rams to
Chiefs?
win it. Yeah, I think so. They look good.
Not Browns Lions.
No, Rams-Chiefs. Okay, that is it.
You
ESPN.
never mentioned me, the Patriots.
Oh, sorry, you've had enough to say already, young man.
All right, so. Patriots. Gab, you hear that? Brady, back to his best.
Who are they gonna
Wimbledon.
face? Who are they going to? Who are they going to face? in the final?
Oh, I see. He finally
I didn't know
at
you
least
put-
came out and said exactly
know you
why he
played-
brought that up.
Yeah. Can't believe you played tennis, Gab.
Ah, dear.
Qualifying this year, is it?
Queens.
Queens. Yeah.
This is
Eastbourne.
Ooh, starting early this year, eh?
Right, what's going on? Let's finish this awful mess of a segment. ESPN FC returns tomorrow. I don't know what's happening tomorrow. Oh, Burley's back. Right.
Now that Stevie Nicol has recovered from Scotland's valiant victory over Albania, it's time to bring you back down to earth, Stevie, because we have to talk about your other heartstring, Liverpool. A testing period ahead for the Reds in terms of fixtures in all competitions. And this is what I'm talking about. These fixtures are all in a span of 23 days, 7 matches, and they're facing the likes of PSG, Tottenham, Chelsea twice, Napoli, and Manchester City, Stevie. So is this the first true test for this squad that everyone has been praising, and where do you see them being tested the most?
No question, it's going to be a test for the squad. I'm glad to see that just after the beginning of that, there's a couple of games, Southampton, which Liverpool should take care of, and then there's a League Cup game, which against Chelsea, no question, both sides are going to have out experimental teams. That's how I'm going to put it. So yes, it's a lot of games, but because Liverpool now has a solid, thick squad, without hampering the team on the field too much, I think Liverpool can take care of it.
Which of those fixtures do you see being the strongest test for Liverpool, or which part of the squad do you see being tested the most?
Listen, I think the end of this particular run is going to be the test.
Because Manchester City lies there?
Well, you got Napoli, you got Manchester City as well, PSG, so it's important that Liverpool get off to a good start against Tottenham. That will just, the momentum from that will take them through this. At the same time, I've got to say, if you're going to have a run like this is the best time to have it. You know, 4 games into the Premier League season, everybody should be 100% fit, healthy and sharp. So as far as physically, there's no question Liverpool, I think, are capable of going through this stretch and doing well.
Well, speaking of fit, healthy and sharp, that's how some of the other fringe players have been looking, such as Daniel Sturridge, who had a pretty good pre-season, also Xherdan Shaqiri. We've talked about Liverpool's front three, and you just mentioned that they probably will rotate them a bit. How much play time do you see them getting? Do you think Sturridge could make a run for more playing time, given that he's been on form?
Absolutely not.
Plain and simple. I was trying to make a case
Sturridge
there.
is going to come in for the League Cup. He's going to come in for 15, 20 minutes and give somebody a break.
But he's been on form. He's been scoring. Do you think none of that's going to play into this?
He always scores.
When he's fit.
Well, when he's fit. I think, to be honest with
But
you,
we've criticised the
listen,
front
you know who's
three
going
a
to see
bit.
more playing time? Shaqiri. I mean, I questioned his attitude at the start of the season when Liverpool signed him, whether he would be happy coming off the bench. But I'll tell you what, he's been fantastic. Every time he stepped on the field, you see him with Switzerland during the week, he was phenomenal. So clearly he's enjoying being at Liverpool, and that's only great for Liverpool. Again, he can come on and give Mo Salah a break, or he can give Sané a break. Mane, beg your pardon. So, yeah.
All right, well, Stevie Nicol, he may be worried about Scotland, but he doesn't sound worried a little bit about Liverpool.
Mane's and Sané's all.
Stevie Nicol is joining me for some Manchester United chatter, because we know how much he loves this topic, Stevie. But let's talk about Toby Alderweireld, because we know about the rumours that were swirling this past summer, and we knew the need of Manchester United for someone like Toby Alderweireld. He has come out and he said that a deal wasn't even really close to happening this past summer. So how much are United going to rue not being able to sign him or someone of his class?
I think definitely he would have strengthened them. There's no question Mourinho is not happy with what he has defensively. Clearly doesn't trust Lindelof. If you play Anders Herrera as a third centre-back before Lindelof, you clearly don't fancy this guy.
How big is the gap then from a Toby Alderweireld to what United have now?
Huge. It's called points. That's the difference in having somebody like Toby Alderweireld. The greatest thing about him is you don't see much of him during the game. He's always there when you need him. You know exactly what you're going to get. That's what you need at centre-back. And if Toby Alderweireld had signed for Man United, I think him and Bailly would have made a nice pairing. Problem is he didn't. And Manchester United, until the next window, are going to be scratching around. Mourinho's going to be trying different players, different partnerships, different formations. It's just going to make it so much tougher without Alderweireld for Manchester United.
Well, his comments definitely bode well for Tottenham supporters, that this is the kind of thing they definitely want to hear. Do you think that there still is a chance that United can sign him, like you said, come possibly January?
Listen, money talks. But from everything that Alderweireld's saying, he seems He's sending messages that he wants to stay. Now, he could be just saying the right thing and actually hoping that Man United do come back in for him. But if I'm a Spurs fan, I like what he's coming out with.
And if you're a United fan, you're definitely not.
Get the checkbook out.
All right, thanks so much to Stevie Nicol. We'll continue tracking this story to see if we do eventually get to see Alderweireld in a Red Devil shirt.